And welcome back, everybody, to this Game 2 in this best-of-3 between Team Boss and Team 3-Headed Monkey. In the first game, Team Boss managed to take it with their Penny and what else did they have? They had Penny, they had Coco, they had a lot of burst. It was crazy. 3-Headed Monkey just couldn't keep up in terms of the damage. But this game could be a different story. We'll see what ends up happening. We'll see if 3-Headed Monkey decides to change up their formula at all.
Well, they've been sticking to the Scolder, they've been sticking to the Frog. We've seen Typhlosion actually kind of floating. We've seen him both on the Lone Star, and we've seen him also now on the Coco. Typhlosion, because obviously last game we saw that there. This game, however, this is actually very exciting for us again, because it's not Aguilar.
Okay.
And I don't actually know what the picks and drafts are coming down to, but I do see Cocos on both sides. So it does look like they are going to be sticking to a lot of their strength.
All right, well, let's go ahead and see those picks so we can tell exactly what's going on. So on Team 3-Headed Monkey, we've got Derple, we've got Frog, and we have Coco. On Team Boss, we've got Ted. You're right.
Yeah.
I said Derple. What did I say?
No, you said Derple.
Okay,
I'm just
good.
taking it back that it's a Derple.
on Team Boss, we've got Ted McPain, Scree, and again, Coco. So both teams fans of the Coco Nebulon. I wonder if any of them are using the new announcer. But 3-Headed Monkey, it's a bit different. Instead of a Scolder tossing people into things, they've got a Derple? Yeah. I'm not sure how that works. I guess Thunderstriker into traps, but...
Well, again, this is something to note. It is Ribbit 4. This is our first time not on Aguilar. There's a really big vertical shaft in the middle of this map that you can just plummet right through as a turret Derple.
That's true, and Derple is very good at controlling that middle area, but Boss does have that ability as well. With the Ted and the Scree's Airstrike and Sawblade, respectively, they can do a lot of damage to an immobile Derple who's thinking of camping in that middle area. They aren't definitely on top of that pick, so I don't expect that Boss will give up that middle without a fight. Let's go ahead and get this party started.
I want to say that the Derple was an early pick, because it almost looks countered.
It almost does look countered, doesn't it? It's certainly one of those picks that doesn't make much sense given the other team. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we got here. Typhlosion playing the Coco. We've got King Richard on the Frog, and we've got Rourke on the Derple, as you would expect. On the Coco for the other team, we've got Cannoli for Team Boss, Bad Joe on Scree, and Kirby Derby for Ted. Scree almost taking a bit of damage there. Rourke going to eat some damage as well. Lightning Ball and some Sawblade. So he's going to have to get right back out of there. Lightning Ball going to hit two people. And that's the first little exchange between the two teams.
So again, big things to look for here is the placement of the airstrikes because, again, it has a lot of vertical space it can play around with. You're going to also look for those totems in the mid, but as well as you're going to look for the turret Rourke as he just kind of jumps in and around using that vertical shaft. He does have both base abilities, so this is the first time we're actually going to see a turret Derple. But Cannoli, he's controlling the mid right now, and as he said, with that airstrike, he's going to be able to push not only bottom, but top with perfect timing on those airstrikes.
And as long as he keeps that up, it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be pushing both lanes, absolutely. But on top of that, it's an excellent way of getting rid of an annoying Derple who's trying to take things over. Ribbit 4 lends itself really well to a well-played Ted as Kirby Derby manages to annoy Rourke out of a teleport, doing not much more than delay him. But every delay is an important one when you have two teams that are this skilled against one another.
So items bot, taking a quick look, Cannoli going for the same build as last time. He gets both base abilities, the piggy bank, and then the boots. And the boots are actually a very... Oh, sorry, that's a Typhlosion picking that up. Sorry, my mistake. He's using the same build that Cannoli did. Cannoli this time not doing that. He's actually going to be just there with the base. So we saw right there the nuke. Here comes the burst from King Richard, but I'm not entirely too sure he can take home the kill to the bank. And actually he's just going to get out of that skin of his teeth. Low hit points across the board.
And an airstrike almost hitting Rourke there. It wouldn't have been enough to kill him, but it certainly would have been enough to send him home for a little bit longer. It would have knocked him out of a teleport. That was pretty late in the teleport. So all things considered, Team Boss establishing their lead over the middle. They're farming the jungle up now for creeps and doing an excellent job of just keeping this under their control for now. Rourke doing his best as a Derple to do what he can. But it's difficult to say whether or not he'll actually be able to do very much against the teams that against the team makeup he's up against.
He does it. He is putting the traps more or less in the center, and that is stopping Boss from using that shaft as freely as they want. But of course, you are seeing a lot of airstrikes. You're seeing a lot of mid control coming out from the scree as well. So, clearing out those traps, there is no way actually to clear out those traps. You literally have to body block it or wait for the duration to end. And that is a disadvantage to Boss. But right now, 3-Headed Monkeys hasn't actually really been able to capitalize on too many traps.
No, they haven't been. And I think that has a lot to do with how much the other team is doing in terms of zoning and in terms of protecting their own interests. Between airstrikes and saw blades and the rest of it, that's a lot of capabilities in terms of just dealing damage from a distance safely and across a great distance, across like a good, huge chunk of the level. So against a team like this, which has a lot of frail people or people that are very weak to that kind of stuff. So Durple, for instance, very weak against saw blade, very weak against airstrike because of his immobility. That's going to really hurt him in the long run.
Yeah, the immobility factor will be a disadvantage going the way of 3-Headed Monkey, but at the same time, big nukes can go a long way, and you just got to really set up the situation to make it work. So he also has the vertical movement. As you saw, he was able to just kind of hover over top of the ball being thrown out there by Cannoli, but going back and forth, it's just a bigger footsies game. Ribbit 4 is literally all about controlling the shaft as well as this jungle area.
Yep, and so far, it seems like Boss is doing an excellent job of that. Although, here's an interesting item pickup. The Durple picked up long cats. He got range on the cat gun.
Yeah, why don't I ever get to see turret Durples?
I don't know.
Well, it's the big problem is the immobility that we've been harping on.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe he's thinking, you know what, I can't beat all this mobility, immobility punishing stuff. So going for cats probably a good idea in this game. It just means that their team makeup is going to have to really rely on going for that late game. King Richard using NATO to get away, I guess. And airstrike coming out again. Lightning Ball is not going to hit anything down there.
Now, something to note, we don't have any kills, but 3-Headed Monkey is really losing out the turret push. So far, King Richard with that ball, it's not going to hit the Frog, but it does actually hit the other two. Low hit points again across the board there for 3-Headed Monkey, but they're all going to have to go on for a little bit of a shopping spree. Boss, very healthy. They're controlling the mid. They got the cash, and now with a turret under their belt, they're going to be looking to this bottom lane. And again, something we haven't had on other maps are these solar bosses, and the solar bosses is a full heal plus money in the pocket of the team that grabs it.
20 solar per person, which is a significant amount of solar every time. That's actually quite good. And it seems like the red team, 3-Headed Monkey, doing the exact same thing. So now both of them have one solar boss to their name. None of them have any kills, and there's one turret for Team Boss right now. Now, it's also worth mentioning that as a result of all this, the solar is relatively the same, except for the one person who bought Piggy Bank, which happens to be Cannoli. And
Cannoli this time,
and he has approximately one Piggy Bank's worth of solar more than everybody else. Like, this is a dead even game, really, in terms of solar. The only difference being that turret so far. Will that difference be will it spell the entire game? I don't think so, but we'll see.
It'd be very interesting if this game actually ended killless, but this early game advantage is actually basically in the Boss's favor. You can see again the bottom lane is now going to be highly pressured out. Ooh, this airstrike does actually catch out Rourke there on that transition, but Coco about a little bit over half. The Frog at this point, does the Frog actually have regen yet? He does have one tick, so he's going to be okay for now in terms of the trades. It will keep him in the lane a little bit longer, but Bad Joe with the pickoffs, the airstrikes have been actually racking up. Cannoli with the balls. I mean, the Cannoli build this time is actually, again, not ball-centric. It is going to go into the superconductor, so they're looking for pushes.
Absolutely, they're looking for pushes, and they can find them. The Ted is starting to organize for them as well. He's got the machine gun range, and he's had it for a little while, and that's definitely helped take out these turrets so far. So it's 2 turrets now in favor of Boss. 3-Headed Monkey now lagging behind in terms of that solar as well. But yeah, all things considered, it's looking like this is currently in Boss's favor, and if this keeps up, it will it'll be a steady push to the core.
Coco and Durple actually do have piggy banks in their name as well.
Rourke was trying to go for some actual hurt there. His nuke ended up missing practically everybody. Cannoli picked him off. King Richard ends off picking up Bad Joe as well. So it's a 1-for-1 exchange. Finally, both teams getting a kill. Airstrike coming out from Kirby Derby, and it's not going to end up hitting anybody.
The shotgun didn't actually connect there as well from the TED. So, you know, a kill is a kill. Great, yeah, but what can 3-Headed Monkeys do about this cannoli?
Oh, cannoli.
Yeah, we got to look for the footsies, but it's going to be the solar boss. That long-distance spit was just enough to take home the kill.
That was really unfortunate that he got picked off by the solar boss. But hey, you know what? You got too close to the fire, and you're going to get spat on in this particular case.
Yeah,
solar
right.
bosses being one of those environmental hazards that you really have to watch out for when you're in the jungle. It also didn't help that that was an extremely well-placed lightning ball by Typhlosion, and it was almost impossible to dodge given the circumstances.
Yeah, some of those narrower corridors there, especially if you're not on one of these platforms you can go up and down. Yeah, it's a little hard to perhaps dodge out. So 2-1 for the kills, 3-Headed Monkey, and this turret turbo is just not working out, I think, how they really wanted it. Yeah, the traps are going down, but none of these nukes are connecting, and now I don't even think we've actually built into turret. No, we just have the base abilities. It's been the cats ever since.
And again, I think you were entirely correct when you said that it was because of the picks on the one team. Oh, King Richard taking an airstrike. That airstrike also netting Kirby Derby a creep kill, so well played by him.
Solar bosses are back up.
Solar bosses are back up, and if Team Boss feels like going for either one of them, especially the one closest to their base, that would not be a bad idea at all. Bad Joe taking a lot of damage from a dash into NATO combo. Typhlosion now looking to pick up a kill, but he's not going to be able to find it in time. So the teams bounce off each other, and a little bit of turret damage in favor of Team Boss.
Oh, Typhlosion in the top is actually going to drop to that airstrike, and Curbder takes home that kill. 2-2 now appease. Cannoli has to deal with the frog, but it looks like it actually will go the way of King Richard. I was a little concerned about that ball damage, but Cannoli doesn't have it.
Cannoli does not have it, and it would have been a kill had it been on there instead. At the same time, though, Cannoli's got superconductor for the hands to be able to farm a bit better, and the blaze is there for the speed, but apparently that time it just didn't work out.
Nope. Yeah. Well, they actually just picked that up because she died, so she didn't actually have that in the fight. But
oh, okay.
Yeah. More you know, you're going to get that totem out. Typhlosion on the wrong side of that jungle is looking to deny the health and the money for the boss. But 3-2, 3-Headed Monkeys, they have the kills, but they are not getting any tower damage.
No, they aren't getting any tower damage. It's because they can't take out enough of this of Team Boss to be able to do it. King Richard going in for the dash. The NATO Bad Joe decides to toss out the totem. Rourke going to take a lot of damage as he eats a lot of airstrike. Gets shotgunned out. Now it's King Richard's turn to run. And he will. Cannoli will not be able to catch up in time. Now Typhlosion up here defending by himself against Bad Joe and Curbderb. Curbderb going to go ahead and almost land an airstrike, and Typhlosion will get away.
Well, he did land this airstrike, but he also picked up the 500, so Typhlosion basically traded it out. Still a little bit more of a deficit towards him. Bad Joe just hovers there and just says, yeah, what's up? Chain lightning. Here you go, frog. But, ooh, that ball, not quite enough. Bad Joe will survive for now, but still, again, pressure. All of these fights are on the 3-Headed Monkey side, so kills equalized. Pressure still heavily in the boss favor.
It almost went back the other way for a second, but that quickly turned around when Rourke took a lot of damage in that middle area. At that point, without that backbone, the 3-Headed Monkey was not able to stay and keep their ground in the middle area.
And the middle area is definitely very key here. So, with the nuke Derpo, I mean, if you're not going to have any targets, you can usually land it on top of the turret, but even then we've been very hesitant to go that far forward into the match. Cannoli looks like he's planning himself a little bit of a shopping spree. King Richard not going to be there for the for the curb der, but he should be able to actually do some damage here on top of this bottom creep wave. You also see, again, more board damage coming out there from Cannoli, so he just really disdains those ball builds.
Yeah, and I don't really see the reason why, especially in this case. Oh,
King Richard dies to a droid. A
little
embarrassing.
A little humiliation. Yeah. But Curb Derb probably had something to do with that, all things considered. Now Typhlosion defending here against Cannoli. Cannoli probably going to aim to do some damage, but not greedy either. So going to wipe out the wave instead.
I love that combo.
That's totally fine.
Right there.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Oh, Rourke goes down to an extremely well-placed Saw Blade out of Bad Joe. Now it's 3v1. There actually might be a push out of this. Typhlosion taking a bunch of damage. Cannoli waiting, seeing, and he just wants that opportunity to toss out a good lightning ball. No dice there, not yet. Out comes the totem to tank some damage from the turret, and this turret is going to end up going down. That is 3 turrets in favor of Team Boss. And
very
unfortunately,
pristine on their side as well.
Yeah, they have taken some damage on the top turret, but that's it. And Curb now pushing this out.
Look at that machine gun go, Wolf.
Oh, it's long range, and it does so much damage against turrets now. It's pretty impressive, all things considered. Typhlosion taking a lot of damage. Bad Joe just saw-blading the Solar Boss to see if he could get an opportunity to kill it, but not that time, not that time. Right now, Boss looking to put enough pressure on top and bottom that it has to split up 3-Headed Monkey, and currently they're succeeding in that regard. Curb doing his best to shotgun stuff, machine gun stuff down there. Cannoli tossing out some lightning ball, and they're going to put in a lot of damage.
Yeah, Rourke's going to go right down here. He's basically just putting all his eggs in the basket, and it worked. Cannoli is actually going to go down, but the body blocks is the trade out here. Curb will take home Typhlosion, but he did save out the Durble.
He did, and only
And
barely,
Froggy
but
died?
at the cost of his life.
When did Froggy die?
That's a good question.
Must have been during all that altercation. But with nobody left on the map, Curb, he takes down that bottom. And you can see Bad Joe there with that Solar Blast. And oh my gosh, the machine gun is real.
It is very real. It is long range, and it comes with a stim pack now. So that's going to be all kinds of painful for the other team. As 3-Headed Monkey now desperately trying to defend against this army of droids. And Team Boss probably heading back. Yep, all heading back to get some shopping done. We see some damage for the left click come out on Scree, lots of pills, and even more attack speed coming out for the Ted. So lots of stuff being bought here to cement this victory over 3-Headed Monkey. 3-Headed Monkey's going to have a hard time trying to push all this stuff off. And even if they do, the chances of them winning are very slim. One mistake, and it is literally all over. They have 3 bars left on their core, and it doesn't matter who's left alive on Team Boss if they win a wipe. It's game over.
That was a good ball, actually, from Typhlosion. Did bring Curb really low, but Bad Joe actually takes the double on the back of that with the Saw Blade. And, yeah, with King Richard the only one left up, it's going to be a victory as Boss takes it 2-0 over 3-Headed Monkeys in the round of 16. And they will advance to their next opponents here, round of 8 of Qualifier 1. Boss, definitely a very powerhouse team.
They really showed off what they could do in those games. They went for a very aggressive build in the first game where there was lots of burst damage, lots of mobility, and it was nuts. It was really cool to see all like that particular makeup. We hadn't seen that in the tournament yet be performed particularly successfully. Every time someone tried that, it got split push to oblivion.
True.
And we've seen so many sentries. It was nice to see a lightweight team for once.
Yeah.
And then
we have seen a lot of sentries today.
Yeah, a lot of sentries, and now we don't see any. Instead,
he's just not good. I don't know.
But we saw lots of Cocos. Both teams really going loving the Coco, which is great. But that was a constant. But the other thing in this game was the makeup from 3-Headed Monkey was consistently Coco, Frog, and Tank. And
they swapped out Tank
every time the tank didn't work, the team fell apart.
I wonder if that was a ban. I have to wonder if that was a ban.
What, on the
against the Scolder? I have to wonder.
Possibly.
If it was a ban against the Scolder and they went Durple early, well, they got countered pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's hard without actually having the draft in front of us, and we don't have a draft because we're not covering drafts for this. But it would be very interesting to see the pattern there. How did these teams actually come apart? Because this was new from 3-Headed Monkey, clearly didn't work, but powerhouse stuff from Boss nonetheless.
Yeah, very aggressive, rewarding play from them. And in this second game in particular, they punished that one pick, and they made sure that the backbone for Team 3-Headed Monkey was not an effective pick.
And it wasn't. Yeah.
No, not at all.
All right, so that is going to be a 2-0 in the books for Boss over 3-Headed Monkeys. And when we return, we're actually going to go visit some neighbors here in the round of 16 because we got another best of 3 ready to go here in the Alienware Awesome Cup Qualifier number 1.